The officials for tonight's match are Dana Hackney, Jared Harrell, Grace Barrett, and Caleb Chandler. And now the starting lineup for tonight's opponent, St. Charles FC. Starting in goal, number 1, Addison Miller. Number 5, Chanel Thorpe. Number 7, Amanda Adams. Number 10, Kendall White. Number 12, Grace Osman. Number 14, Jordan Lamb. Number 15, Reagan Thornton. Number 18, Brianna Rutherford. Number 20, Anastasia Martin. The captain is number 9, Taylor Imming. The head coach of St. Charles FC is Dino Merritt. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Indy 11, presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. In goal, number 1, No Reason. Number 5, Grace Barr. Number 9, Katie Soderstrom. Number 10, Addie Chester. Number 12, Maddie Williams. Number 14, Lizzie Sexton. Number 20, Annika Schmidt. Number 21, Sam Dewey. Number 22, Greta Krizula. Number 23, Trinity Watson. And the captain, number 16, Ella Rogers. The head coach of Indy 11 is Paul Dolinsky. He's assisted by assistant coaches Brandon Kim and Grace Barr. The goalkeeper coach is Kelly Freeland. And the head athletic trainer is Sierra Gardner.
It is the home finale of the regular season of the W League for Indy 11 in year number 2. A win tonight against St. Charles FC would give them the same result as a season ago, a division championship and a guaranteed berth in the USL W League playoffs. Tonight's game on ISC and 11 Sports is brought to you by Community Health Sports Medicine, exceptional care simply delivered, and by Alpha Health and Wellness, official team chiropractor for the Indy 11 W League. Alongside Angela Berry White, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us all month long for Indy 11 Women's Soccer on the ISC Sports Network. 10th and final regular season game. The entirety of the USLW League wraps up as of Sunday. And for the Indy 11, the scenario is as simple as it can be. Win and they are in. A quick check of the Valley Division standings. Racing Louisville finished their season earlier today. They won. They are sitting on 25 points. Their goal differential is staggering compared to the Indy 11. However, the first tiebreaker in the USL is not goal differential, it is head-to-head results. Indy and Racing Louisville played twice. Indy got a draw and a win, so goal differential does not matter. Simply as long as Indy wins tonight, they will be playoff bound. Angela, your thoughts before this one goes live?
Well, let's see. How about we have a nice response? Response to what happened in the last matchup. We can't have that again simply because we need the win tonight. Also, let's look at creating early opportunities and putting them away this time. It's taken us, a few more minutes than we'd like to see, and we don't want to sit back, anything like that. We want to make sure, create those early opportunities and finish them. And last but not least, win the ball in transition. We were scored on, meaning girls in blue were scored on the last matchup with St. Charles, so let's make sure that the girls in blue win that transition game and walk out of here with the victory.
Our keys to the game are brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Central Indiana is proud to be Honda's home turf too. And let's reference that this is the last game of the season as well for St. Charles. And sometimes you see that in this level. They are a player short tonight. They literally have brought 10 players. Indy will play with a man advantage the entirety of the match. No substitutions available for St. Charles. Now, playing indoors will mitigate that to some degree, but it is a short roster for St. Charles tonight. With that, we'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, starting lineups, opening kickoff from the Grand Park Indoor Event Center. Back in a moment on ISC at 11 Sports.
For over a century, Indiana has been the destination for sports innovation and the state where champions are crowned. Now, we're entering a new era with Sports Tech HQ, a place that inspires innovation and invests in entrepreneurs who are changing the game, one startup at a time. Welcome to the crossroads of sports and technology. Sports Tech HQ, home of the game changers.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me.
And the winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Indiana, winning is in our DNA. And we're winning the future with $22 billion in new business investment, building an economy of the future with unprecedented momentum. Indiana, for the winners.
Real quick, if you are sending video to a college coach, would you want it to look like this?
Did he save it? Who knows?
Come on. Do you want your potential coach to see that video or this one? Of course, the answer is simple. Give us a call or check out our website, recruitproductions.com, for more information.
Well, there you see 9 in uniform is what we are spying right now for St. Charles FC. And obviously this is a team that last place in the Valley Division. However, their one win was here against the Indy 11 15 days ago. Their goal differential is -32, but they are playing 9 players. We had 10 listed. 9 will start the match for St. Charles.
I've seen teams play against 9 when there's been cards issued, but I've never seen a team start with 9.
Absolutely. I've seen 11v8 by the end of a match before. This is obviously unique territory. Let's get to our starting lineups. They are presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Central Indiana, proud to be Honda's home turf too. For the Indy 11, seemingly the first question as always, is Maddie Williams playing? Yes, Maddie Williams is playing this evening. The former pro from PSV Eindhoven and Zaragoza in Spain. She has scored 3 times in the last 2 matches, playing a combined total of 105 minutes. Clearly, Maddie is rounding into form.
Oh, yes, definitely. When you have Maddie on the field, you know good things will happen. And as you referenced the last 2 games and her scoring ability, let's look for her to get on the board quickly.
The other name I want to make sure we pointed out here is there's some conjecture about which last name should we use, as in maiden name Schmidt, married name Creel. But, you know, Annika Schmidt from Zionsville and Butler has played overseas, has played the NWSL, recovered from an ACL tear last year while with the Houston Dash. She was added to the roster in between these last 2 home games. She played in Lexington 8 days ago, from her high school and college days. What sort of player has Paul Dolinsky added?
Oh, great defender, and she will organize. She will totally organize, and, she'll help control the tempo of the game coming out of the back.
All right, so with that, get 9 in uniform. Looking at the formation, 5 at the back, 3 in the midfield, and this will be a bit of a shooting gallery you would expect for the Indy 11 tonight. I want to say this, I have nothing but respect for the players from St. Charles that made the trip, knowing they're going to be short on numbers. Soderstrom fires and takes the first shot on goal 12 seconds into the match.
It's great press there by Soderstrom as she took the ball literally off her foot, and she took a quick shot. So that was nice, and let's see if we can, girls in blue here can get something off this corner kick.
Addison Miller, the starting goalkeeper. She was in the starting 11 when St. Charles won here 15 days ago. She plays the Division III level. I thought she was spectacular here a couple of weeks ago.
She definitely was. She was the difference maker.
You may see some short corners, again with the numerical advantage for the Indy 11. Dewey, Chester, sliding tackle away. That was Rutherford that knocked that one free for St. Charles. Another corner coming here for the Indy 11. Rutherford will be a junior at Missouri State this coming year. And she too featured in the match here some 2 weeks ago. Watson sends it in. Bending ball back post. Indy couldn't sweep it home, but was there a touch there by St. Charles? No, it seemed to be a goal kick coming for the visitors. And Indy opened their season at St. Charles and won 8-0. Indy has not come close to that sort of goal disparity for the remainder of the season. And their goal differential, a 17 goal difference between they and Racing Louisville. Indy has been much more of the kind of the vice and squeeze in terms of what they have done offensively. Their story has been the lack of goals allowed defensively. 1 goal against Racing Louisville here in the building, and then 2 goals allowed to St. Charles here in this matchup.
They've done an excellent job in not conceding goals. Let's see if that'll happen again tonight.
Chester outside of the 18. And the ball knocked to the back where Greta Krazula will take over. Here's Annika Creel. Over to Trinity Watson. And Watson, part of the class of players for the Indy 11 that is hoping to find that professional opportunity like Maddie Williams has done in her previous years. Maddie gets her 4th goal of the last 3 matches. It takes 150 seconds for the Indy 11 to take a 1-0 lead.
Excellent service there. Trying to spread them out because technically what are they doing? They're trying to stay compact. Great service, back post, and who's there but Maddie. Making sure that she was there just to put it in with a little flick of her head, and goalkeeper exposed herself by coming out a little too quickly there.
So already Indy has more goals than when they faced St. Charles the last time, some 15 days ago. And you kind of get the feeling that Indy will take a nod from the goal celebrations or lack thereof when the men's national team was beating St. Kitts and Nevis 6-0 on Wednesday night. Just very clinical. Hey, great to score the goal. Just go out and kind of do your job, because when you got a 2-player advantage, it takes a little bit of the joy out of it to a certain degree.
Yes, it does, and that's a sign of great leadership and professionalism by these young ladies that are out here.
And again, Maddie, one of the 3 former pros. Maddie not desiring to play professional soccer again. We'll tell her story throughout the course of the broadcast. Sam Dewey, who just played the ball also, began her professional days at Real Betis in Spain. Signed after she graduated from Xavier University in the fall of 2019. Here's Chester, about to enter her sophomore season at the University of Louisville. Her teammate is Lizzie Sexton. Plays a little 1-2 with her over in the corner. Trying to dig free and create some space, and does just that. That loss to St. Charles here some 15 days ago. The only regular season loss in the 2-year history of the Indy 11 women's side. Flag goes up. Addie hit just straight a bit offside.
Unfortunate there being offside, but just the weight of that pass by Annika as she sent that, and it just landed perfectly. if she would have been on sides, probably could have gotten the ball, crossing into the box, and who knows, maybe could have been goal number 2.
So Miller will restart here. She plays at Division III Greenville. Led her team to the championship in the St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. She had 78 saves in 21 matches. Here's Adams. Adams scored the first goal this year for St. Charles and scored the first goal in the 2-0 victory against Indy here 2 weeks ago. So third and final matchup, and the way that the league worked this year with having 5 teams in the Valley Division. You played 2 opponents twice, you played 2 opponents 3 times, and St. Charles drew Indy 3 occasions. Soderstrom is onside and just missed it.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen her take just one more touch on that, and she could have drawn the goalkeeper out, so she would have probably had a little bit better angle on that last shot.
Tonight's match was presented in part by Community Health Network. Exceptional care simply delivered. Thanks to our friends at Community Health Network. Soderstrom, first team All-W League last summer. He's completed 5 years at Butler University. Soderstrom on the turn, right idea. Couldn't get there in time. Jordan Land will quickly recover. Jordan just completed her career at Webster University at the Division III level. She was also a track and field star for one of the more creative nicknames in all of college athletics, the Gorlocks of Webster University.
Never heard that one before.
That's probably the only place you will hear that one would be Webster University. All these players, really except for Adams, who's a homeschool player out of the state of Texas. Everybody else plays collegiately or high school or both in the St. Louis area. Soderstrom roofs that one. And a goal kick coming for Miller here in the 7th minute.
Nice composure with Annika there. She, was able to get the ball there in line. She looked up instead of serving it, perhaps, in the slot or back post, and saw Katie there near post, and she just, got under it a little bit. So next time, hopefully on frame.
And for Indy, they have not played since they won at Lexington in 3-0 fashion last Thursday. For St. Charles, they played on Monday afternoon in a makeup match, one that had been postponed against Racing Louisville from earlier in the season. Racing Louisville beat Kings Hammer to finish their season today. Watson, the curling ball up and over the bar. Watson, one of the new faces on the Indy 11 this season.
Excellent look. She took on the defender. No one stepped to her, so why not take that shot?
Watson played in 86 matches in her time at Pepperdine. Paul Dolinsky has a bit of a pipeline for this team to Southern California. Some of his past coaching stops. He and a big part of the women's soccer world have been in San Diego because of the ECNL playoffs that have been taking place. In fact, Paulie hopped a flight to get back here from San Diego this morning. Adams. Barkham slicing through. Kendall White now with a touch and couldn't keep it.
Yeah. With their, few numbers, if they go forward, there's not going to be that many people back. So let's look for that transition when we win the ball.
And again, the ladies from St. Charles, they're playing for pride. They're playing almost for kind of a story to tell at this point. The night they played 2 players down with no subs available. But they're not worried about playoffs. They know that, again, for those that are going to be playing college soccer in the fall, which is most of their lineup, not all, they know that they've got a little chance to recuperate and rest after this one. They can kind of empty the tank tonight.
Yep, it's all out.
Soderstrom cuts it back. Chester stayed on side. Looking back post, plays it across, and Soderstrom couldn't get the boot to it.
Excellent look as she looked up and she saw Katie, running into that slot, and just unfortunately just misdirected and once again just went slightly over the bar there.
Katie finished 4th in Butler women's soccer history with 34 goals. 2nd in terms of assists with 30. She has not been the prodigious scorer she was a season ago for the Indy 11. But that's kind of in the nature of this team. They have grinded out a few more results than, say, last year's squad did.
And they've shared the wealth amongst themselves as to who is scoring, which is, you like to have that balanced attack sometimes. And that way, just because you shut down one player doesn't mean you're not going to get the win or, get the results that you want.
And let's face it, Maddie Williams, has not played as much this year. She's been playing more lately. But Maddie played in most every match a season ago, and her presence made everybody around her better a year ago, and you can see it this year too. Of course, this match brought to us by Fluid Waste Services, Indiana's premier utility service provider since 1989. So simply maintaining a one-goal lead is good enough for the Indy 11 win, and they are playing next week in the postseason. Williams looking back post, could not get to it in time, could not keep it on freight. Maddie had an early brace in the home match against Kings Hammer 12 days ago. She had a first-half hat trick in a match against Flint City last year. A throw-in coming here for Indy.
Now let's see if Indy 11 here, as they maintain possession and St. Charles ends up staying back a little bit more, you have to have those passes like that one was just made there, in which you're looking underneath for that space just in front. And when I say underneath, it's underneath the defender. So that back line is straight. You have that space to open up and hit those penetrating passes and see if you can create something to move forward in that respect, because they're not going to let you, go in and out so much, because there's just so many people that are in that small space there in front of the goal.
Other thing I think you also just saw in that tackle, I think in most scenarios that's probably a foul and a set piece coming outside of the 18. The team playing with 9 is going to get just a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. That's human nature in this scenario. So it might take a lot to get a whistle going in the direction of the Indy 11, and that's understandable on a night like tonight.
Yes, so let's play the ball a little quicker. Get it off your foot just a little quicker and not wait for that potential foul, because we just saw it. They're not going to call it maybe sometimes.
Creel plays it to Barr. Barr had that world-class hit last time we saw her for the 4th and final goal against Kings Hammer, the former Xavier and Wisconsin Badger. Going for the upper 90 shot from distance that time was Chester. Could not locate it.
Excellent turn as she received that, looked up. Nobody committed to coming to her because they're going to sit back. So therefore, let's go ahead and try and take a strike from outside.
And if Cam Lindley can have the goal of the week on the men's side last week, why not somebody from the women's team having something similar this go-round?
It would be nice.
Watson. Can she slide it across? She can. Soderstrom couldn't settle. Finds Chester. Chester takes it wide. Rutherford with her step for step. Good job by Rutherford again. She plays at a pretty high level at Missouri State.
She did very well there, staying with Addie Chester, and wasn't able to shake her. Try to have a nice little hesitation, change of speed there, and I think the turf just kind of got up under that last ball.
This is a team in terms of St. Charles who plays with a variety of players at the Division I, Division II, Division III level. Indy 11 almost exclusively players that are playing at the Division I level or have graduated from Division I schools. And again, there are 3 former pros on the field for the Indy 11 currently.
That's definitely an advantage when you have, you might as well just call them veteran-type players.
Oh, absolutely.
And
there's a give and go between 2 of them. Dewey scored twice against St. Charles back in May and has scored for a first time tonight. Sam Dewey got the goal. Opened the season with a brace against St. Charles on May 10th. Gets the goal, her 4th of the season. The current director of athlete development at Sogility scores a goal for the Indy 11, and it's 2-0 for the girls in blue some 14 minutes in.
Quick little give and go, and she stayed with it. Nice composure, and that's the only thing that you want there in front of the goal. You need to have composure, and that's what she did. She didn't swing at it or anything like that. She just stayed with the ball, stayed down, and, goalkeeper thought she was going to go corner, and she was able to put it in the back of the net with a deflection off of the keeper.
Forget level of competition. Sam had 83 goals in a high school season at Triton Central High School. She had 13 goals her final year of playing at Xavier. As we mentioned, signed with Real Betis in La Liga. After her days at Xavier, she's 4 years removed now from playing college soccer. And Sam's kind of going back and forth. All right, do I give the pro ranks one more try? Do I stay here kind of in a teaching role? Well, she's played well in these 10 games, and certainly with a 2-goal lead and a 2-player advantage, you kind of like Indy's chances of being a playoff team about 75 minutes from now.
I definitely will have to agree with you on that one. You know, when you're looking at it and you're already up 2-0, now it's about what can we work on? What can we work on to prepare? So let's stay with the game plan. Let's not get complacent. Continue to, move the ball and figure out ways to break down a team that is playing so compact.
Watson sends it in. Ball kind of pinballs around off of Ella Rogers. Wearing the captain's armband for tonight. Barr sends it in. Krasula gets a touch. And eventually that's tracked down by Addison Miller. Thorpe sends it forward. Thorpe, the oldest player on the field for St. Charles. 30 years young. Spent time being both at UMSL and Missouri Baptist at the NAI level.
Nice recovery there after losing the ball. And once again, what are we going to do? We're going to reset it. Reset it and try to establish tempo, maybe get into the flanks there and see if we can make some runs to the box.
Here's Rogers. Rogers played in 2 NCAA tournament matches for Xavier this fall, scored in both of them. Krasula plays at VCU. Rogers knocks it forward to Lizzie Sexton. Sexton entering her sophomore year at the University of Louisville. She and Addie Chester, both teammates and of the same class at U of L. Back post, Soderstrom couldn't get there. Ball lifted forward by Jordan Land for St. Charles, but only a few yards of respite for this undermanned St. Charles squad. Sexton will try to keep this ball in play and does so successfully. Watson is charged all the way forward in the attack for Indy. And that's her camped outside of the 18 right now. When you're playing 2 players up, you have less of a need for a right back. Watson goes down, penalty, give it to her. Well, I said it would take a lot to get a whistle when you're playing 2 players up. That would be it.
That was an obvious one. And a great change of speed here. Little hesitation, and the defender didn't really have anywhere to go. She'd already overcommitted, and she just stuck her foot out there. And obviously with that change of speed that she had, she wasn't going to touch anything but, the attacking player there.
Something that I have not seen in our home matches so far this year, a chance in the spot. So Grace Barr will have a chance to make it 3, 18 minutes in. And does so. Goes upper 90. So Grace gets her second goal of the season. Make it 3 for the Indy 11.
Yes, and Miller didn't have a chance in saving that one.
No.
Not a chance. Going upper 90, there's not many goalkeepers that can even get there, and that's on any level.
So 3 goals, 3 different goal scorers for the girls in blue. And this one, the numbers game would tell you is going to be lopsided. The result the last time these 2 teams got together would have told you otherwise, but this is starting to resemble how it played out when these teams saw each other back in the season opener. Tonight's match presented in part by our friends at Alpha Health and Wellness, official Indy 11 W League team chiropractor. Well, this, if it hasn't already, now will kind of start to resemble a bit of a training session for the Indy 11. How do you kind of keep the mindset sharp if you're Paul Dolinsky and company?
Well, you stick with your game plan of what you wanted to do. Perhaps up the tempo a little bit more. And you're, cleaner in terms of your passes, your runs, and just making sure that you're doing everything that you set out to do. Don't cheat yourselves. Don't cheat yourselves. Yes, you're already, up 3-0, but, when I say don't cheat, that means don't be complacent.
Anastasia Barkham, player that got back there to force the corner. Barkham plays at Missouri S&T. And just to specify, for those of you unfamiliar with Missouri colleges, there's a Missouri State and there's Missouri S&T. And those are two completely different schools.
Well, it used to be University of Missouri Rolla.
I'm impressed by your knowledge. Looking back post. Creel couldn't really steer it on frame. Ball lifted up and over the bar. This, of course, the match presented by our friends at Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. As the parent of a Division II student athlete and one that plies his craft in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, you might know a little bit more about the minors than you did a year or so ago.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You asked, you asked earlier, what are some things you can work on? Well, how about on set pieces?
Yeah.
Let's connect on a set piece. Pick your spot. Where do you want to, where do you want to hit it? You want to hear it back post. You want to go near. Let's just try and get those numbers in the box, in which they should be able to, seeing that they're defending with all 8 players. Should be able to create something to score off of one of those set piece opportunities.
Adams plays it across. I don't think Nona Ree's going to see much traffic tonight, but plays that one very well. Got to tell you how impressed I've been with Adams. This is the second time we have seen her play again. She plays homeschool, high school soccer in the state of Texas. She's already verbal to play at the University of Houston next year. She's going to be a high school equivalent senior this coming season. And they'll go back to the point of the foul as Dewey was fouled. But you can tell for a player like this who's got a year removed before she plays Division I soccer, this summer's been a really great experience for Adams, wearing number 7 for St. Charles.
Yes, it's always a great experience when these young players can get in and play with older players, just to get that experience. And I think she's taken advantage of that and definitely improved her confidence level.
Chester plays it across. Never got through to Dewey. Soderstrom was the Indian player closest to it. The aforementioned Adams, but it's then taken away by Sexton. Now it's 5v5. Have a hit from distance. Well, you kind of get a little more free reign to do that when you got a 3-goal lead, 21 minutes in.
Yes, and she had a few more yards to go, because as you could see, the defenders, they just kept backing up. Nobody was there to engage and try and get her to commit. So she went ahead and said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot and see what happens."
Chester, knock it forward. Was Williams onside? No. Unfortunately, wrong ball was played. Maddie had just kind of leaned a little bit forward. If that ball goes left to Chester, she's on. Williams was not.
Exactly. Now, that was her other option. Yes, as she made that run behind the defenders, maybe next time, let her continue that run, and then you dump it off to Chester. And she can play that ball one touch, probably far post.
Those were the 2 scoring stars last year for the Indy 11. Soderstrom and Williams combined for 21 goals last season. That was in 12 regular season matches. This summer it is a 10-game sprint for the girls in blue. Here's Williams ranging wide left to pick it up. Curious to see how many minutes Maddie gets tonight. Ball slides forward. Dewey was the target. Chester tracks it down. Ball ricochets off of her, and Dewey will collect outside of the 18. But back to the point about Williams, you wonder, are you trying to kind of build match fitness before the playoffs for Maddie? If so, that progression would kind of be 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 75 might be next, but she's played 45 and 60 the last 2 times out.
Definitely think she needs to, improve that match fitness, basically because she's a working girl now. So, she's out here. And like you see, let's work on that match fitness, so that's definitely a bonus going into the playoffs, and knowing that she has not as many miles on her this season, which is helpful.
The day job for Maddie, a senior sustainability analyst at Caramita, working off of her engineering degree at Purdue. But this is sustainability efforts, and specifically in the world of sports venues, and sports arenas. So she is combining both of her passions for the day job for Maddie.
Well, You know what? As long as soccer provides that, all for it. Especially when Indy 11 can benefit from, her professionalism.
Oh, absolutely. Chester. Trying to create some space. Working around Rutherford. Good leave. Plays it across. Rogers was the target. Thorpe got in the way for St. Charles.
She made a nice run, but like you said, Thorpe just happened to be there. If she wasn't able to get to that ball, that would have been goal number 4.
And 8th the most in a match this year for the Indy 11 against the St. Charles squad. Watson takes it to the byline. Beat the first defender. Couldn't beat the second. But a throw-in coming now for the Indy 11, just shy of the corner flag. Good look at Trinity Watson. Watson, 74 starts at Pepperdine. Had 2 goals and 7 assists in her last year playing for the Waves in Malibu. Barr have a hit. Heads up for the Photogs. Again.
Knew she was going to take that. She had a nice setup. She put it on her left foot, and she took a little peek, and just kind of, I guess in a golf terminology, just kind of shanked it a little bit. But she probably thinks she could have gotten a better shot off. She would have just a little bit more time.
I would say this: if we're going to go golf shot on that, 4 left, I think is what I would have said after that one left my foot. I'm usually familiar with 4 right.
Okay.
So Miller will send this one back in. And a reminder, the Indy 11 men are in action tomorrow night as they take on San Diego Loyal. Be sure to catch that one on My Indy TV. Later start time than normal at 7:30. So there'll be pregame coverage at 7. It's because there is a post-match fireworks show. We cross our fingers, weather permitting, given the forecast for tomorrow. And obviously given the storms that we had roll through here yesterday.
We are in Indiana, so anything can happen.
Were you able to maintain power at the White family residence?
Flickered
yesterday?
on and off
Okay.
during the time, but we were only had to, I think, reset 1 or 2 clocks.
We had about a 4-hour window without power at the Rakestraw Radio Ranch. So ball knocked forward. Dewey able to get on the end of it. Flag stays down. Plays it across and got it back post, but nobody there waiting for it. Rogers gives chase. Watson will corral it. Watson sends it in. Chester got a touch, but nothing on frame.
Dewey had a nice floating ball to the back post. She popped up her head. She saw that there was that's where the space was, and unfortunately didn't have a runner in that spot. Had runners at the near post, had runners at the slot, had runners even at the top of the 18. But once again, maintained that possession.
And Miller, that ball ends up going across the byline, so a corner kick coming for the Indy 11. Tonight's match was presented in part by Fluid Waste Services, Indiana's premier utility service provider since 1989. And I said it, and I'll say it again numerous times. I have so much respect for the kids from St. Charles for continuing on with the match. Playing 2 players short, but they're out there gutting it out as best they can. Here's Perzula. Now Sexton. Williams working around the defender. Even that was Rutherford out there corralling that for Missouri State. Or for St. Charles, I should say. Dewey. There is always going to be a safety valve outlet behind you for Indy 11, the way the scenario has played out tonight.
Right, and if it's not on, don't force it. The object is maintain possession and, perhaps not look to get that much weight on the ball.
Sure.
Take a little bit off that, and especially it's going to be a little bit harder to send that ball deep like that because there's not much room for error, as we just saw, and the ball went just over the end line. One
thing with the player advantage and the early 3-goal advantage, what is normally A loud and raucous venue is rather library-like right now here at Grand Park.
And it's very rare that you can hear, all of the players talking.
Right.
And we can definitely hear them.
Here's Rogers.
This will be a true test. With our attackers, they have to continue making those runs, even if they don't get the ball. And that was a nice little check underneath.
Williams. Miller was forced to knock it sideways. Corner coming. Of course, this match brought to us by Alpha Health and Wellness, official Indy 11 W League team chiropractor. Williams having a blast from distance.
It was a great look for her to come underneath the defense. She had, just amount of time to receive, quick turn, get her head up, and get that shot off.
And Indy electing to play short. Watson drew a penalty, going for goal. That's off the hip of Thorpe. Then the sidewinder from Chester just missed wide left. If you're Paul Delinsky, how you feeling about what you're seeing right now?
Feeling pretty good. One, you're up. You've already, gotten into the groove of the game early. You didn't have to wait. Yes, you're playing against less players, but sometimes that's even more difficult because psychologically you're like, why didn't we score already? We should have scored, why didn't I connect on that one? You start to doubt yourself, but you are feeling good, but you have to make sure you're going to work on these things because your next opponent isn't going to be playing against 8 field players. So you still have to, work on those basic things that you wanted to accomplish and, get ready for the playoffs.
Which will start next week for the Indy 11. Rogers collides with Barkham. Watson couldn't maintain possession, but Indy will have the throw-in. Playoff matchups will be set after Sunday. That is when the remainder of the league wraps up. This is the final match in the Valley Division. Good give and go. Dewey, left foot. Didn't miss it by much. She was aiming for a second brace of the year against St. Charles.
That was excellent 1-2 in terms of, Maddie checked 2. She properly turned her body, got a nice little pass back to Sam there. The only thing she had to do was finish it, but she got a great shot on, great shot off. It just didn't wind up on frame. I love to see that. Love to see the combination play that's happening by the forwards.
Soderstrom hustles over to try to maintain possession. Taylor Emming wearing the captain's armband for St. Charles tonight. We had an Indy 11 men's match where the possession was remarkably almost 80-20 at one point this year. That was a 0-0 draw against Las Vegas Lights back on April the 1st. We won't have official possession numbers tonight, but you could be looking at 90-10 at the end of this match.
You might be conservative on those numbers.
Being nice.
Being very nice.
Williams, good job to knock that free by Land. Then it bounces off of Maddie Williams, so a goal kick coming for Addison Miller. We'll learn early next week. Playoff opponent, playoff location. Last year, Indy had to go to Minnesota Aurora, where they suffered their lone loss of the season. The Aurora would end up as the runners-up in the inaugural season of the W League. Last year, 44 teams competed in the league. This year, that number is 65.
It's great to see the game growing, and it's growing at a different level, which is what we want to see as past players. Now, like for myself as a coach, you just want to see those opportunities that will still exist for players moving forward as they get older.
Great run by Dewey. Just couldn't make that last pass. Rogers plays it off to Chester. Chester has a hit from distance, and Annie Chester makes it 4 for the Indy 11. Now we talk about Sam Dewey racking up 83 goals in a season. Addie had 59 one year at Delta High School.
She was Gatorade Player of the Year. Look at that nice touch. She brings it down and just makes it so that on her next touch after receiving it, it's just outside of the touch of that defender. And look at that perfect placement in the corner. I do believe that Miller was shielded, maybe slightly, but it wouldn't have mattered because she couldn't have gotten there. It was a great finish.
Addie played in 15 matches with 12 starts at the University of Louisville last year.
I do believe that she graduated a little bit early to start school there in the spring.
Williams, left foot, misses everything wide. Indy 11 team has a lot of cardinal red on it in terms of players at the University of Louisville ties. And one that we saw last year going into her freshman year that, unfortunately because of injury, we have not seen this year is Carson Cherry, who, much like Addie, Indiana high school product, that played immediately as a freshman at U of L. In fact, Carson played last year as a high school senior for the Indy 11. He's one of the team's better players. Rogers. That one goes directly at Miller. In fact, I believe that Carson played in the opening match and then went to prom the next night at Central Catholic High School. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
So Carson on the roster, but has not appeared in a match this year for the Indy 11. I want to take this moment to thank our ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Jordan Shue, David Kahn, Rob Lynch, Chase Eisnagel, Charlie Hammock, making sure our signal gets to you, whether you're watching on 11 Sports, ISC Sports Network, ISC TV. However you're joining us, thanks for making us a part of your extended 4th of July weekend. Indy playing 4 goals up, Indy playing 2 players up. And that's not through cards or anything like that. That's just kind of who was available for this last match of the season for St. Charles. Williams turns, and that ball had some late dip on it.
Oh, and what a turn that was. It was a quick turn. She looked up. Nice strike on goal.
When Maddie graduated from Purdue 6 years ago, she was the program's all-time leader in goals scored and assists.
You can see why.
Yeah, it's we can talk about quality college programs for these players, and then we talk about Maddie. We say, well, Eindhoven, Zaragoza, well-established clubs over in Europe that she played for. Dewey works around Thorpe. Dewey, make it 5. She's got the brace. First Indy 11 player to pick up the brace tonight.
And attacking at speed. What a finish. Attacks that front foot, and there's nowhere the defender could have gone but, literally just behind her. She attacked, she changed speed, put the little burst on, takes a look up, and that's what you want to do. Put the ball in far post, just outside the outstretched hands of the keeper.
We started the night by talking about how the goal differential would be in favor of Racing Louisville. Still a long way to go, but that goal differential won't be as wide of a margin as we thought it would be at the end of the night, with Indy sitting on 5 in the first 38 minutes. And again, you try not to celebrate too much or try not to belittle or criticize, because again, the ladies from St. Charles are doing everything they can in this scenario.
Oh, all that they can, and I don't believe that those are all perhaps field players that are playing on the field.
Right, I had Barkham listed as a goalkeeper that is spending time as a left back in tonight's matchup.
So, we spoke about this, give them credit. They're here, they showed up, even though they showed up with not a full squad.
Again, they won here. Last time they played here 15 days ago, which was a stunning result then. Watson on the cutback. Barkham knocks it sideways. A corner coming. Those maybe watching outside of the Indianapolis area, my partner has won a state championship as a high school coach at Rebuff Jesuit High School. You go out and play a tremendous schedule as Barr bends one around that will be tapped home. Yep, make it 6. Miller couldn't hang on to it. Not sure if it's Rogers that got credit for it, and immediately Rogers kind of offers her hand and says, hey, sorry about it. We'll see who gets credit for it. Barr with a wicked shot. And I think it was Dewey. Yep. Yeah. I think it was Dewey got the touch to it. So give Dewey the hat trick in the first half.
Well, what a strike by Barr there. And I'm pretty sure Miller thought that her defender could have gotten a little head on that.
So give Dewey her third. Barr a tremendous blast. Our final 5 minutes of the half brought to us by Masters Heating and Cooling. Masters gets there faster. Find out how at mastersheatcool.com or call 866-844-HEAT. Well, before the Indy 11 so rudely interrupted my story with you by scoring a goal, there's 6 of the half. You've had matches as Williams takes the ball away. Williams plays it across. Miller spills. It'll be a corner coming. But when you have a lopsided scenario like this, as a coach, how do you handle it?
Well, first off, you have to give your players credit for going out there and actually doing what you had told them to do. Let's go ahead and let's attack. Let's use this to our advantage. Get this momentum going. So you tell your players, do what you normally do. Do what you normally do. Okay, you've already done that. Now, how can we work on things that are better? Well, set pieces. Let's make sure we do that. Let's work on getting in line and getting our runs there. The other thing is, if you don't want to score anymore, that's when you start to, maybe work to pull those defenders out a little bit more, and let's work on our switches, switching the ball, and let's do it in a timely fashion, and not take too many touches, but switching the ball, going from side to side, and last but not least, get some people in the game, perhaps in the second half, that can experience it, and that's how we would typically do it.
Chester, got it. Her second of the half. Chester makes it 7 for the 11 in 41 minutes and change. Well, clearly, double-digit goals are a possibility in this one. The outcome is no longer in doubt, and it hasn't been probably since the first goal 2.5 minutes in.
But just like we thought that they would, they're getting tired. They've been under pressure probably the last 40 minutes in terms of having, shot upon shot, players driving at them and creating opportunities. So, they are starting to get tired, and, they're not stepping to the ball as much because they know that it's almost a futile attempt just to try and, take the ball off their foot. So, obviously, as a forward, what are you going to do? You're going to take the shot, and it was an excellent shot that she took there.
You mentioned as far as getting players some experience. Of note, I see Emily Edwards start already warming up, the backup goalkeeper for the Indy 11. She actually played against St. Charles when these two teams played 15 days ago. She's a freshman to be at the University of Pittsburgh.
She'll be playing for Randy Waldrum there. And he's also serves as the national team coach for Nigeria, I believe.
Miller able to corral that one. And she's a little slow to get up. Again, there's no replacements coming for St. Charles tonight. I'm not sure how much action Edwards would get if she plays the second 45, but she is listed. The other subs from a field player standpoint for the Indy 11 is Zach Clarence is heading our direction, and Edwards is Miller is kind of grabbing at her lower back a little bit. For the Indy 11, Emma Johnson. Christina Lynch, of course, was a key part of last year's team, playing at both Florida State and then Notre Dame. Aaliyah Martin, who you know rather well from her days playing for you at Buff High School. Rafferty Kugler, Rhonda Ojangbo, and Susie Soderstrom. The field position players available for the Indy 11. We may see them in mass in half number 2. Sexton and Miller able to keep it in play. And I don't know if we will go through the added time here at the end of the half. I'm not sure that is going to be given. And immediately I'm told, no.
No added time.
No need to add anything in a scenario like this one.
No. I guess they would call that adding little insult to injury almost by putting on more time on the clock when there wasn't really anything to slow the clock down.
At the high school level, you guys have gone to there is a stoppage at a certain score, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then there's a running clock. So at the high school level, you score a goal, the clock stops. But once it reaches a goal threshold, then it's a running clock.
Yep.
And if you, and once you reach it so that it could be the game called early if there has been too many goals scored.
Williams can keep it at her feet. Quick look at the wristwatch. We're still playing on past the 45-minute mark here. Again, Watson. Ball sprayed across the goal mouth. Corner coming.
It was great timing by Miller. I mean, that ball came across, and if she didn't actually, tip it slightly, we had two runners coming in at the back post. Probably would have been goal number 8.
Chester will walk this to the corner flag. Watson to send it in. Ball's here out of the 18, and that's it. So 7 goals in the first half for the Indy 11. I thought it might be lopsided, but I'm not sure anyone ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. It's been that level for the Indy 11 in the opening 45. We'll take this quick timeout. Halftime show comes your way next. Safe to say the Indy 11 are playoff bound. 45 minutes until that phrase becomes official. A hat trick for Dewey. A brace for Chester. And goals to be added by Maddie Williams into that mix as well. And Grace Barr from the spot. 7-0 Indy after 45 as you're watching W League Soccer on ISC at 11 Sports.
Real quick, if you are sending video to a college coach, would you want it to look like this? Did he save it? Who knows? Come on. Do you want your potential coach to see that video or this one? Of course, the answer is simple. Give us a call or check out our website, recruitproductions.com, for more information.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but sometimes I get a little stressed because I'm not for sure what's going to happen down the road. I was at the cancer unit, and when I come out from seeing the doctor, I said something about needing some help with all the paperwork. They gave me a name and a phone number. Her name is Molly. She works over at Community. She tells me, stop worrying, let me take care of it. She is my angel.
Stand by me.
For over a century, Indiana has been the destination for sports innovation and the state where champions are crowned. Now, we're entering a new era with Sports Tech HQ, a place that inspires innovation and invests in entrepreneurs who are changing the game, one startup at a time. Welcome to the crossroads of sports and technology. Sports Tech HQ, home of the game changers.
It is a touchdown lead for the Indy 11. They put up 7 in the first half against an undermanned St. Charles squad that is playing with just 9 players tonight and no reserves. A hat trick for Sam Dewey. A brace for Addie Chester. From the spot from Grace Barr, Maddie Williams opened the festivities 2.5 minutes in. It has been all Indy 11 and then some through 45 minutes. Greg Rakestraw, Angela Berry White with you on ISC and 11 Sports. Well, this is the halftime speech you want to give if you're Paul Dolinsky, but what exactly is your messaging when you're 2 players up and 7 goals up?
Well, you tell your players, way to get the job done. You didn't want to have any doubts at the end of the first 45. And actually, I guess you could say there weren't any doubts after the first 5 minutes. So it was excellent in terms of what they were able to get accomplished, which was, we talked about this earlier, let's have a response after losing to them previously 2-0. Let's make sure that we create those early opportunities and win in the transition. Accomplish all those phases. So now what do we need to do going into the second half? Getting some fresh faces on the field, getting them some minutes, because probably we'll need them going into the playoffs next weekend. So let's work on those things that we kind of talked about, outside of those other key factors, which are maintaining your composure. Let's not stay static. Let's still create things in the attacking third, because we're going to need those opportunities going forward and going further than playing in one playoff game.
We can treat this like election results. I think enough precincts are reporting at this point that we can call the race for the Indy 11, that they will be the Valley Division champs. They are going to go on the road at Flint City Thursday. So, Indy at Flint, barring something of the miraculous, losing a 7-goal lead with 2 players up with 45 minutes left to go. Flint, and again, Indy were in the same division last year. Indy handled Flint with ease, and they played twice last year. Completely different team for Flint City this time around. I believe they went 9-0-3 in their division, which is most of the Michigan teams that Indy played last year. The Cleveland Force also have added a team that plays in that division as well. So I would assume Paul Dolinsky knows that, if I have been told that by the marketing and communications staff. Now they kind of know what that is. You also know you're turning around and playing in 6 days. How does that affect what you do these last 45 minutes?
Well, you do have this game in hand, like we just said. Knowing who you're now going to play, when you play, let's rest some people, Let's have, like you said, let's get some, a couple fresh faces out there, because, going into next week, we don't know exactly who's going to be available.
That is Emma Johnson, by the way, you see on your screen. She will turn 16 in about 3 weeks. She played briefly last year for this team. So again, now you're probably in almost injury conservation mode more than anything else, right?
Exactly. And you want to make sure, some of our players that have played majority of the minutes, and especially, in these last couple weeks, let's just make sure that they are at 100%. Last home game, 2 players went down, and they went down late in the game. You never want to see that. So you want to make sure that you are, being a little bit more conservative in terms of who you want to rest, and making sure that, you're just trying to fine-tune a couple things.
With that, go ahead.
Annika is new to the roster. This is only her 2nd game, so probably want to keep her in terms of having that continuity in the back. And then that way she knows how to play, more so with the starters. So, the ones that are in. So, there's a couple players that you'll have to keep in, only because you only have 18 players to use. So you have to keep, certain players in. So now it's almost a game of, who do you think's going to stay on the field? I think we know Nona's coming out. We saw, we did see Edwards there warming up. So, that way we have 6 more subs.
We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back and look at our first half highlights and get you ready for half number 2. Again, the outcome not in question. Final margin is simply what's in doubt. 7-0, Indy 11 leading St. Charles FC. Back with more in a moment as you're watching on ISC and 11 Sports.
And the winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Indiana, winning is in our DNA. And we're winning the future with $22 billion in new business investment, building an economy of the future with unprecedented momentum. Indiana, for the winners.
Looking to keep your home comfortable year-round? Look no further than Masters Heating and Cooling, Right now, you can save up to $2,599 on new system installations with 0 down and up to 72 months financing. That's unbeatable value and unbeatable comfort. And if you're just looking to maintain your current home comfort system, we've got you covered with a $69 tune-up from Masters. Don't miss out. Both offers expire April 30th. Contact Masters Heating and Cooling today and experience the ultimate in home comfort.
The main part of my job is definitely listening. People deserve transparency. I don't want the financial part to be something that stops or hinders a patient from having the health care that they need. I try to treat each person like they're my mom or my grandmother, my daughter, my husband. I want them to know that they're not just another phone call for us. And it's very rewarding to know that I can provide peace of mind.
Stand by me.
Real quick, if you are sending video to a college coach, would you want it to look like this?
Did he save it? Who knows?
Come on. Do you want your potential coach to see that video or this one? Of course, the answer is simple. Give us a call or check out our website, recruitproductions.com, for more information.
Highlights, here we go. And again, it's going to take a while to show you the highlights because the Indy 11 scored 7 times in the first half. It was led off by Maddie Williams. She has now scored in 3 consecutive matches.
Well, Maddie. And as Maddie goes, we go. She got the party started, and then it was just one after another and another and another. It's great to see so many different players scoring.
And frankly, for Addie Chester, she gets the award for degree of difficulty. She had 2 hits from the edge of the 18 for her 2 goals.
I'll have to say yes on that. Too bad Grace didn't get credit for that one, but It's about being right place, right time, and always following up. So it was a good follow-up there, for that goal. And, both Maddie's goals, those were untouchable. Our girls in blue, we wanted to see them. You and I wanted to see them do a few things, and they were able to do that. We were talking pregame and saying, they just need to score. They just need to score early and put the game out of reach. Just didn't think it was going to be 7-0 so quickly.
For the Indy 11, again, in terms of a franchise record in terms of goals scored, it was 8 against this St. Charles team back on May the 10th. For what it's worth, the men's record for most goals scored in a match, 5. Last time it happened, back in 2016 against the Jacksonville Armada. Again, Indy, as the division champs, know they are going to play at Flint City. That match will be on Thursday. We'll talk more about that throughout the course of our broadcast here. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with second half thoughts, and maybe we'll try to get you some substitutions lined up as well. Back for the final 45 minutes of this regular season. Indy 11, they're going to win this one. Question is by how much? Here on ISC and 11 Sports.
Test drive the best ride. Honda, our largest inventory is here. Drive now from $249 a month. Cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. The best value brand with the best resale value from $249. Search your local Honda dealer today.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me.
From the engine to the transmission, Honda certified it. Drive with confidence, knowing from mile 1 to mile 100,000, you're backed with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Only available at your local Honda dealer.
So a quick glance in terms of the players on the field for the Indy 11. as expected, goalkeeper change. Emily Edwards will come in for the final 45. Nona Reason will have a seat. Rafferty Kugler, who we've seen a lot the last couple of games, that finished her college days at the University of Kentucky after playing at Milwaukee. She will come in for half number 2 as well. Some of the other substitutions, maybe we'll kind of see those happen maybe a few minutes in, and there could be others that I am not catching. By the way, one point of clarification. We know that Indy is going to Flint to play on Thursday. However, it's 4 teams that are heading there to play, so we're not sure if Indy is playing Flint just yet. So 4 teams are being sent to Flint. Flint gets to host what you would assume would be semifinals, and then a final of that regional that will take place perhaps over the course of the weekend, as the playoff structure with an expanded playoffs, a bit new. We're all kind of learning this on the fly. So yes, Indy's going to Flint Thursday night. Not for sure they are playing Flint, so thanks for the clarification from the Indy 11 front office staff. So with that, we're moments away from the start of half number 2. And again, what do you want to see here in half number 2, Coach?
Well, continue to control the tempo. And let's start to get a little bit more creative as they are sitting back in the, their defensive third of the field. Let's try and draw them out. And if they don't, you're going to do what Addie Chester does so well. Let's take the shots from outside, and then maybe somebody will step up, but and challenge those shots. But let's just try and control that tempo, keep doing that, and also, let's get wide a little bit more and get something off some of those crosses.
Just kind of eyeballing the huddle there. I think 2 substitutions is what we're looking at to start the half for the Indy 11. Edwards in for Reason. See exactly who Rafferty Kugler may have come in for. So Kugler will come in for Sam Dewey. And here's the teaching tactics of how you play 9v11 that we are seeing for the bench for St. Charles.
Yes, which is stay compact. Don't get spread out. Don't dive in. Those little things that, especially that when you have fewer players on the field.
So the Iron 9 back on the field here for St. Charles. They may have swapped field player and goalkeeper, yep. So I think Thornton will head back as the keeper, and Miller will get 45 minutes of field player activity. Is this a good teaching moment, so to speak, for a keeper to get a little experience playing along the back line?
Well, if she's not exactly, if she doesn't really play in the field, then I wouldn't call it a teaching moment. It's basically, what can I do to help my team?
There you go.
And, that's a true team player when you're like, hey, I need a rest. And so your backup goalkeeper who played on the field in the first half, you're just returning the favor.
And for St. Charles, their season comes to an end tonight. Barr sends it in, looking back post. Soderstrom lifts it, and this isn't wide. And she is a player you'd like to see kind of get on track. That would be one of the things I think that Paul Delinsky would like to see. Maybe get her a goal and then get her off the field early in the half.
Yeah, service like that, you want to make sure you put it away. She's sent some balls over the top of the bar a couple times, and she wished she had some of those back. So, in those opportunities, you need to put them away. Next week, those opportunities will probably, not be as many. I'm not going to say that they're going to be few and far between, but let's go ahead and put those opportunities away no matter what.
So Kugler is on the right side for the Indy 11. She takes Dewey's spot. Dewey done after 3 goals in 45 minutes. She has 5 goals in 2 matches against St. Charles this year. Williams pokes away from Adams. Now Watson. As you'd expect, Watson's been able to kind of shirk her defensive responsibilities and feature far more in the attack tonight for the Indy 11. Chester cuts it back. Here's Soderstrom. Hits it right at the keeper. Relatively easy first ball for the keeper to handle.
It was a great turn. Just, get a firm strike on that and let's hit the corner.
There might be a little, and I understand completely, a little time wasting every time the keeper has the ball. Just hang on to it for a few extra seconds, trying to mitigate the time you got to spend defending this one.
Right, milk the clock as much as you can without getting, a warning and let alone a yellow card for wasting time.
As you would expect, playing 2 players up, Indy had a somewhat significant shot advantage in the half. Williams picks out some space and buries it inside of the far post. Williams has a brace. It's 8 for the Indy 11. And Maddie very professional with the goal celebration.
Yes, once again, Addie had changed speed, direction, quick turn. She opened up her body. She saw that, okay, I'm not going to go on the left because perhaps that wasn't the best angle, so let's bring it back to the right, and she hits it far post.
In the first half, the Indy 11 had 24 shots to go along with those 7 goals. To Miller's credit, she made 5 saves in the first half. So Williams now with 5 goals in her last 3 games.
Assisted by number 10, Annie Chester.
So the next goal for the Indy 11 would set the franchise record for goals scored in a match. Their most last year was 6. That was the victory at Flint, where they are heading to play on Thursday. Creel. And the players that have yet to enter the match for the Indy 11 are starting to warm up. Back post for Sexton. Sexton could not track it down. And a goal kick coming for St. Charles. St. Charles with 9 tonight. That is, frankly, one of the lessons that was learned at the end of last season. As players' college commitments start to kick in, and you got to get some attrition, due to injury. Part of the reason why that there's about 40 players deep on the Indy 11 roster this season, just in case you're into that same scenario.
Well, yes, lesson learned in terms of you want to maintain a bigger roster because you just don't know. You don't know when coaches are going to want their, at the time when you sign these players, you're like, hey, when do you have to be back? Oh, I'm not sure. And then you find out that they have to go back the first week of July. And then, of course, you never want to see, through attrition, which would be injuries. And we do know that we're down 2. We don't know that outcome of their injuries from the last home game, but do hope that they're back soon. But, yeah, you never like to see an injury, especially, any time of the year, but especially during the summer when they're all trying to get better at this point in their careers.
Kugler. Track that down. Trying to work around Land. Ball knocked forward. Soderstrom a touch. Trying to make the turn. Races the byline. Kept that in play. We're still going.
It's a great save off the line there defensively.
Krasula has a hit. Ball finds Rogers, and good save by Thornton. And she'll take a little time to let her players kind of get up the field. Today's game brought to us in part by the Renaissance Indianapolis North Hotel. Treat yourself to an elegant stay at the Renaissance, just minutes away from both Grand Park and downtown Carmel. Rogers. Barr. Again, this group, as it was put together as a starting 11, largely what you'll see on Thursday. Ball played across, just sitting there at the edge of the 6. And lifted up. Williams. Now Watson. And that defensive shell just keeps retreating further back for St. Charles. Ball played across, and that will be another corner coming for the Indy 11.
It's good effort there getting the ball in line, and defensively St. Charles came over and was able to prevent them from getting the cross. We talked about trying to create a little bit more on these set piece opportunities.
Looking back post, Creel steers it wide. Williams, and that ball inadvertently knocked in. Give Williams a third.
And as the ball came across, great job by Annika knocking it back to the near post and then keeping it alive.
So make that a franchise record 9th goal for the Indy 11. And Thornton did her best to try to knock that up and over the bar, but not hit the way she wanted to. Give Rogers the assist, and Williams pokes it home. So a pair of hat tricks for the Indy 11 tonight. One by Dewey, one by Williams. She now has scored 6 times in the span of 160 minutes in the last 3 games played for the Indy 11. She has played in just 4 games this year.
Those are some good stats. Good stats by far. If I could guarantee, if I play 120 minutes and get 6 goals, oh, what a great penetrating pass.
And Williams has 4. 10 for the Indy 11. Maddie scored 10 times last season. She may be able to equal that number if she plays long enough tonight. The goal differential for Indy on the season is now at 31. They have outscored their opponents 34-3.
Great vision by Addie to split the defense. But what caused that was the initial run as she held up. Maddie, and then nice little burst of speed and a little flick with the outside of the foot. Just past the outstretched hands of the keeper. Composure in the attacking third.
Slalom run by Adams. Rutherford springs forward. So a first in franchise history. Double-digit goals for the Indy 11. Four players loosening for the Indy 11. You would think that we would see that group sooner rather than later. Barr knocks it forward for Chester. Chester couldn't get there in time. That's Miller that swept it to the side.
Yeah, way to work to get that corner. They're just looking for those little pockets that they can actually attack through, get a nice little 5-10 yard pass just in that instance, try to create something. And at least they got the corner kick, nice little short corner, and let's go ahead and let's reset it. Let's go around the horn there just to see if they can open up something.
Barr looking back post, headed down, but just steered wide, and the flag was up anyway. By the way, tonight's match presented by our friends at Fluid Waste Services, Indiana's premier utility service provider since 1989. Pretty casual for Creel and Barr at the back tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely working on, receiving, opening up a little sooner, making sure that they can see the entire field and playing the ball quickly to try and switch it.
Sexton. Chester. Frizula.
Great inside-out movement there to get the ball wide, and constantly, once they touch the ball and pass, they're moving. They're moving into that space to create something else. Not only to create, but also draw these defenders out.
Good back post for Williams, just up and over her, but Sexton is there. Indy playing 2 players up they have since the opening of the match. Frizula.
Nice weighted ball there.
Kugler deferring to her teammates after entering at halftime. Give it go for Barr, knocked forward. Indy now has outscored St. Charles in their 3 matchups, 18-2. One of those, a 2-0 loss. Kugler plays it across, and that one is knocked home.
What an excellent time finish there. Great ball across. Notice the composure that we had the last, I would say if we were starting to count passes, it probably was at least around 30 to 40 passes, just working it from one side of the field to the other, waiting for that little split, and great service and great run just in front of the defender.
Well, judging by Soderstrom's response, I'm not sure if that is her or that is an OG that got deflected back in to the back of the net. Either way it goes on the Indy 11 side of the ledger. And Indy has matched their number with their nickname. 11 goals this evening.
11 for the ladies.
And I can tell you that's the first time that's happened in franchise history. Sexton able to peel that ball back from White.
Nice recovery there. She made sure to step in front of the man, in between the man and the ball, to win that quite easily.
And the Indy 11 subs that were loosening have been pulled back. In other words, you would think they're probably maybe a minute away from going to the 4th official, and we'll see the kind of final wave of substitutions being brought in here. That is, I believe, it officially been determined to be an own goal that was just scored by St. Charles.
Well, unfortunately, I was unable to see that. I was giving it all the credit to Katie on that one because I thought she made a great run, and that's the power of your great cameraman right there. Great work, I must say.
Kugler. Watson. Chester. And then Indy has, you saw some blasts from distance in the first half. It has been, 10, 15, 20 touches and then give it a hit here in this second half. And I see 4 players heading to the 4th official as we speak.
All right. And they don't have you're looking at St. Charles, they've been under attack. They don't have an outlet to hit the ball to.
No.
So, when they do get possession of the ball, they're hoping that they can get at least 1 or 2 numbers going forward. And here it is with 2.
And it's 1v4.
Yes.
Here's White. And Watson will just settle and play back to the keeper. Give Edwards a touch. She has entered at halftime. Sexton. Chester takes a tumble.
It's a great pass to find that pocket.
So she's all right. She is slow to get up. Was a penalty called against St. Charles in the first half. And that'll be a throw-in coming for Indy. And Chester kind of with a glance back towards the bench. Let's see if that might be the end of business for her. So Susie Soderstrup will come in for Maddie Williams. I'd say 4 goals is enough for Maddie.
I think so tonight. Well, we would like to see that, though, on Thursday. Little replay of that, scoring multiple goals.
Chester is done for the night. Rhonda Ojongo will come on for the Indy 11. Native of Smyrna, Georgia. First time we have seen her in our home match. Good to see Christina Lynch back on the field. She was a key part of last year's successful debut season for the Indy 11. And then you want to announce the last sub for the Indy 11?
Love to. Love to see this player, Aaliyah Martin, stepping onto the field. She replaces Annika Schmidt.
So one Central Indiana kid that became a Division I stalwart and a pro to another. So Aaliyah, as part of your state championship at Rebuff High School, would go on to play at the University of Michigan and spend some time in the NWSL as well. Where is kind of Aaliyah's career at this point?
Well, we haven't had time to really speak to that. You know, she was looking to step away from the game, and when she came back here and having this opportunity, you know, you always want to stay in touch with the game, especially when she was, and as she said, you know, she thought she was going to go ahead and just, you know, go into the workforce. And, you know, she's finding that, oh, wow, you know, working a lot. So, you know, she kind of recalculated that and said, you know, I still have not hung up my cleats, and it's good to be back, you know, when she can. And
how about that ball? Just missed it wide. On the service from Barr, that was Soderstrom, the younger of the Soderstrom, Susie, that could not find the back of the net on that one.
Yeah, it was a good run, the back post, just didn't quite get all of it on there, and that's why it didn't go to the back of the net. But getting back to Aaliyah, yeah, she definitely missed it, and that's why she's back out here playing. You know, you want to play as long as you can.
As a reminder, fans, you can take the Indy 11 with you wherever you go. Download the Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. And that is, you know, one of the luxuries that the Indy 11 women's team has. There is such a remarkably deep talent pool that you can choose from here. Lynch couldn't keep it at her feet. Will be a corner coming. It's Miller who was in goal the first 45 minutes, now a field player the second 45 for St. Charles. And for St. Charles, they kind of now have an idea as to, hey, this is what the top of the league looks like in terms of how you get your program ready for next year in the USL Championship, or the USL Double League, I should say. Left-footed strike goes right to the keeper's mitts in Thornton.
Well, exactly, and you know, new teams, and they don't. I'm not going to say they don't know what to expect, but until you're in it, and there is that huge learning curve, and you know, like you said, that they're learning that, you know, in this first year, what it's like to be, you know, to have a team and to play in this league, and you know, next year, I would hinge a bet on just saying that they're going to have more players available and more players on their roster.
We talk about the depth of talent available in Indianapolis. Obviously, the same holds true in perhaps what was America's first soccer hotbed, the greater St. Louis area.
Well, definitely. I mean, the men's national team, they were, you know, just played a game as part of, you know, CONCACAF Gold Cup there. 2 games just the other night. So, you know, it's definitely America's hotbed. You know, other areas have blossomed, but St. Louis, they try and, you know, maintain that as being, you know, the heart and soul of American soccer.
By the way, this portion of the match brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care, simply delivered. It was 7 at halftime. Indy has put up 4 on the board since then. And they know they are heading to Flint City for a 14 pod for the playoffs next week. Rogers plays it across, but on the same page with her teammate there. Then you're working in some new faces and different players here for the Indy 11.
And all 4 players that just stepped on the field, they're hungry too. They want to try and contribute and the best that they can, showing well and possibly, getting assist and definitely trying to score a goal. So we've seen that in the last couple runs that Susie's made on that backside.
Soderstrom, a jumbo.
A little heavy touch by her. If she had her, had that done over, she's probably going to open herself up and want to play more towards the middle of the field as the ball was served across and not back into that trouble.
Alongside Angela Berry-White, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us in this month of June for Indy 11 women's soccer. Here on ISC and 11 Sports, our 5th and final broadcast of the regular season. Lynch, that ball took a turn off of a defender for St. Charles. It'll be a corner coming as we're now midway through half number 2. Indy has now outscored their opponents 35-3. 10 matches so far this year. Only matches they have not pulled the full 3 points. Their loss to St. Charles here 15 days ago, 2-0. Barr sends it in. That one got all the way through. Rogers, the player closest to it for the Indy 11. And again, a 1-1 draw against Racing Louisville here on June 2nd. Reminder, the Indy 11 men in action tomorrow night against San Diego Loyal. 7:30 is the kickoff for that one. Again, slightly pushed back start time to accommodate the post-match fireworks show for the Independence celebration. Get your tickets now, Indy11.com, 317-685-1100. And again, tomorrow night, our broadcast on MyIndy TV, as per usual, starts at 7 o'clock, but with pregame coverage, 30 minutes. That way we're not competing with the post-match fireworks for post-game interviews. Brad Hodder joins me for that one tomorrow night.
There's been quite a few fireworks here tonight with all these goals scored. If this were another sport such as baseball, I think they would have run out of fireworks on every home run that was scored, and some of these goals have been home run worthy.
I think the backup second baseman would be pitching by now at 11-0 with 20 minutes left to go. Corner coming for the Indy 11. And again, they'll just play it short as they have most of the night. To the byline, play it across, and Soderstrom lifts it up and over.
Nice quick, 1-2 off that short corner, driven ball, got their head up, made sure that there was somebody on the other end of that pass, and just missed timing there. Wants to, try and redirect that, doesn't need to put much on it. So perhaps next time as the ball comes across, she'll look to do that.
Rogers. Over to Watson. We referenced Susie Soderstrom a couple of times. She has just completed her second year of playing at DePaul University. So she had a chance to play against her sister the last couple of years in the Big East. Susie had 4 goals and assists in 15 matches for the Blue Demons this past year. And it's crazy to think, but we're about 6 weeks out from the start of the college soccer season.
And so we mentioned it a few times earlier that many of these girls will be going, they're not going to just show up in August. Quite a few will show up here in the next couple weeks. Hopefully our players, we get to hold on to them a little longer this season, especially as we make our postseason run here.
Watson trying to play that across. That ended up clipping off the crossbar. Soderstrom will track it down. Ball headed, but nobody there to really provide much pressure. So St. Charles will track it down. Yeah, the college soccer season has kind of shifted up. It's not a bad thing, frankly, big picture. In theory, it's less class time missed, it's less midweek matches. There has obviously been a big push to potentially make soccer a 2-semester sport.
Yes, that has been a lot of talk, and just because there's a lot of demands physically.
Sure.
20, 30 years ago, players were playing Saturday, Sunday. You leave on Friday, you come back Saturday, Sunday night. It was a rarity if you played a Friday, Sunday.
It sounds like something you may have done being a George Mason Patriot, perhaps.
Yes, and so I like to say that, some of these kids have it easy. They get to play on a Thursday, Sunday.
Right.
Which is much better for the student athlete. It's better in terms of, like I said, they're, just the physicality of the game has risen so much. And also the rules with substitutions. And you have to look at it in that mindset, because you're not able to have a free-flowing subs once you're, here, once you're out, you're out. And in the college ranks, you can't come back in the first half, but you can make one return in the second.
Soderstrom's going to work, and Soderstrom puts that in off of the back post, and she gets credit for the last one. She gets credit for this one, and gets a hug from her sister in the process. And I think that Susie may be more happy than Katie was on that one.
I think so, too. Nice little hesitation, burst of speed, and as soon as she had that bit of space, she's got to get her head up like she did then and just bury it far post.
So make it a dozen for the Indy 11. We talked about Katie's story on a couple of different times. Katie is, again, making that decision. Am I going into the education route? She's got a passion for being a teacher. She's trying to figure out, am I doing that, or am I going to chase the pro soccer dream? I think for now, it's going to be the latter. Tonight's match presented in part by our friends at Fluid Waste Services, Indiana's premier utility service provider since 1989. Foul called against Ajangbo. It's going to be a pretty quiet bus ride home for St. Charles.
Well, I would like to say that they're probably going to be pretty tired. So probably, once they wrap up here, probably sleeping.
Right. And again, credit the 9 that played for playing.
Yes. They definitely gave it all they had. And, they continue to work hard and just, trying to create when they can. But they know every time they, are able to dispossess the ball from, the girls in blue, that they don't have an outlet. So without having an outlet, if they lose the ball, it's going to come back once again, and they're going to be on their heels.
Here's Lynch, one of Para-Nash champs from Florida State. Part of a trio of Penn Kingsmen that played on this team last year. Mackenzie Wood and Molly McLaughlin. There was a Penn player on the team this year. Haven't seen her as much. That's Maya Lacignato. Just wrapped up 4 years playing for Chris Johnson at IUPUI. He's going to finish her career at Kentucky as a grad transfer this year. Ball lifted up and over the bar. It'll be another corner coming for the Indy 11.
Nice strike and a good save there by the keeper just to parry it up and over the bar.
Barr has a hit. Ricochets off a St. Charles player. All set in. Thorpe did a good job of getting in the way. But as has been the case all night, the respite is only brief for St. Charles. Rutherford, Emming. And Emming plays that off a Lynch. Looks like it's going to be a goal kick coming here, or the throw-in. It's going to be a throw-in here for St. Charles. This match brought to us by Alpha Health and Wellness, the official Indy 11 W League team chiropractor.
Constant movement as we go from, left to right, back and forth. Who's going to show in? Who's going to,
Oh my goodness, Soderstrom. Both members of the family have a goal. Making a baker's dozen now for the Indy 11.
I mean, she received the ball after turning so quick, and she literally looked up and said, you know what? Now it's my turn. A nice bend right around that defender, and the goalkeeper immediately thought, oh, that's going to go outside the post.
Hey,
but unfortunately, what a bend. Look at that.
If you score 4 in the Big East, you can play. That's a really good league. And the coolest part about it is how happy one sister was for the other on each of those last 2 goals.
Indy 11 goals scored by number 24, Susan Soderstrom in the 77th minute. Assisted by number 5, Grace Barr.
That was a nice cheeky move by Miller. Is that Miller number 7?
Adams.
No, Adams
Yep.
for them, yes.
And she had a goal last time when these 2 teams got together, and St. Charles pulled the upset of the season. That was a more, kind of fully functional squad for St. Charles. Soderstrom's working again. Ball lifted up and over the keeper, making another one. Well, it's 7 now in each half for the Indy 11.
She just turned on the speed there and just split the defense on her run. Not too sure if that was actually pretty confirmed. The goalkeeper didn't need to come out in that instance. No. Not at all. Because the only thing that she was going to do is concede the goal, which she did. But she came out in the no man's land and she wasn't able to, get a hand or anything on that.
Well, the 4th of July weekend turned into the Soderstrom family barbecue over the last few minutes.
Indy 11 goal scored by number 9, Katie Soderstrom in the 78th minute. Assisted by number 24, Susan Soderstrom.
So a little less than 12 minutes to play. There hasn't exactly needed to be much in the way of coaching or tactics from the sideline, and Paul Nolinsky in this one.
No, I could basically you can say that the ladies have executed the game plan, and it has had a little help on the other side. But still, you have to still come out and score goals. They could have bunkered the entire time, and maybe the lid still would be on that on the goal, and wouldn't have scored anything, and that would have been a little frustrating.
This could be Indy's most extensive fireworks show over the course of the next 5 days. We will, make references to either baseball or golf or whatever the case may be. Since we're in Indiana, you are kind of going beyond the Norman Dale 4 passes before you shoot at this point for the Indy 11.
Yep, and let's just say run the picket fence a couple times too. Make sure everybody touches the ball. But yes, the old Hoosiers reference there with, have to do that. So that's kind of what they're doing here.
Yeah.
You don't want to give up a ball. Continue just to go from one side to the other and look for that penetrating pass to see, when something's going to open up. And then once you get on the outside, attack that front foot. There you go.
Lynch on the cutback. Rutherford got in the way. It will be a corner coming for the Indy 11. Well, when St. Charles tells the story of this season, they will not tell this match. They will tell the other time they visited here.
I guess you could kind of call it a Charles Dickens. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times.
And again, they've had some lopsided losses here, yes. Again, including giving up 8 in their home opener to the Indy 11. They came in here 2 weeks ago. They had 2 points all year. They'd had 3 goals all season. Came away with a 2-0 victory, both second-half goals. Ajungbo has a hit, and great save by the keeper to knock that one wide.
And that was a great touch. She brings it down out of the air, nicely off the chest. She maintains that positioning to keep the defenders, just off the ball there, and just a quick turn. And credit the goalkeeper there for making an excellent save.
Have a player that's relacing a boot. hence the reason for the delay. Tonight's match presented in part by our friends at Alpha Health and Wellness, the official Indy 11 W League team chiropractor. Adams sprinting after that one, but tracked down by Krasula. Soderstrom roofs that one. She lifts that one up and over the bar. Tonight's game presented in part by our friends at Sports Tech HQ. Indiana, winning is in our DNA. For more information, visit forthewinners.com. Lynch. Soderstrom. Across to Kugler. Kugler will elect to play this one back. Now she'll charge forward. Lynch. That one off the crossbar, and Thorpe will steer it about 20 yards further back.
That was a great run there by Christina Lynch. And she just, nice little flick for a redirection and a great save to put it off the, the crossbar by the goalkeeper there.
Lynch had a game winner last year against Midwest United in a 1-0 win here at the end of May. Last year there were a couple of teams that only had to play once, and Midwest was one of those. And I thought Midwest was one of the better teams and better outfits, and he had to play last year. Kind of thankful he had to play him one time. It was Christina that got that goal in that 1-0 victory. She was a big part of the midfield success for this Indy team last summer. Just kind of rounding into form for the team this year. Lynch has a hit, but that one's not on frame. The amount of shots taken at the end of this match might be staggering for the Indy 11.
And some of those shots that we've taken have not been on frame. And so it's one of those things where you say, just think if half of those would have been on frame.
Clearly 14 of them have been at least.
Yes. I mean, the first half you had mentioned that it was 24 shots that were taken. So I think it would be safe to say that the ladies tonight have matched the first and second half in terms of their shots.
So Indy will play Thursday. They'll play at Flint City. Now again, that is part of 4 teams that will meet what is known as the Central Conference at that location. So not sure whom Indy will play just yet. Krasula. And much as was the case at the end of the first half, there will not be anything in the way of added time at the end of this one, since this one has long since been decided. Maddie Williams opened things up 2.5 minutes in, and he's put up 7 in each half. Soderstrom couldn't get that through.
But when she received the ball and did a quick turn, nobody had engaged. She said, why not? Why not me for another one? So it was great defensively in terms of stepping in front of that shot, but it's if they don't actually step to you, go ahead and take that shot.
So the Central Conference, the Great Lakes Division, which is the Michigan division, more or less, with Cleveland thrown in there. The Heartland Division, which for the sake of ease is Minnesota Aurora's division, where they have been dominant in for 2 years. In the Valley Division, and again, the Valley knew they would not get a wild card, so for as good as Racing Louisville has been, they will miss the playoffs for a second consecutive year. The wild card will come from either the Great Lakes Division or the Heartland Division. Little contact at the edge of the 18. And they will give a card and a penalty here to Barkham, who was just a little bit slow
right.
to get into that spot.
That's something you don't want to see.
Yeah.
There's no need to raise your boot that high, you know, and especially when you're doing what? You're down 14.
Second penalty of the match that goes against St. Charles. Kugler will take it for the Indy 11. First penalty was taken by Barr and converted. Grace defers to her younger teammate for this one. Kugler converts.
Slots it in the corner. 50-50 chance on which way she was going to go. And keeper guessed the incorrect.
It's a good thing we're indoors because we ran out of smoke a long time ago at this point. The smoke budget would literally have been blown out.
Blown out, yes.
About 7 or 8 goals ago. So make it 15-0 in favor of Indy. By the way, our final 5 minutes presented by our friends at Recruit Productions. If you want to play college soccer, let Recruit Productions tell your story and get you noticed. Visit recruitproductions.com for more info. I want to thank all of our sponsors that have brought you Indy 11 soccer throughout the course of this month, the women's perspective. Of course, we are just hitting the halfway point of the men's season. Tomorrow night is their 16th of 34 matches.
Excellent check into space just underneath the defenders. Splits the defense there.
Kugler and another. So Kugler with the brace. And remarkably, the Indy 11 began the night 17 goals away from catching Racing Louisville on goal differential. They are 1 away because they've scored 16 times tonight.
And who would have thunk it?
Not me.
Not me.
Or anyone, frankly.
Indy 11 goals scored by number 17.
What is the most lopsided game as a player or coach you've been a part of?
Oh boy. There was a 19 goal differential.
This is approaching that.
Yes, it is. And the numbers, they only had 10 on the field.
Yeah.
And it was down to the fourth goalkeeper. Our goalkeepers were on the field. You know, you name it, that's what was happening.
Foul against the Indy 11. Let's hope that that's Adams, who is the player that got clipped. Let's hope that she is all right, as we have thankfully avoided this up until this point of the match. We literally have seconds left to go in the game. Coach will come out to talk with her. Card shown to Watson, who committed that foul. But again, the 2 penalties that were called against St. Charles were not of the vindictive nature. You know, this just player got beat inside the box. There has not been a frustration foul that has been given from them tonight,
right,
which, considering the circumstances, is good to see.
It's great sportsmanship.
Yeah. And I'm not exactly sure what the need for further action would be. We'll talk about this one tomorrow morning on Soccer Saturday on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. We'll also be joined by the once again newest member of the Indy 11, Stefano Pino, SportsCenter Top 10 nominee Cam Lindley, and men's head coach Mark Lowry, all tomorrow morning on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And that's it. Nothing needed further from that point. Again, I will mention the team that lost by 16 first. Nothing but respect for St. Charles for coming out and competing tonight in this scenario, playing 2 players down for the entirety of the match. But the Indy 11 fire home 16 goals, 7 in the first half, 9 in the second half. They win it 16-0, and they are the Valley Division champions. They are moving on to play in the postseason. Coach, your final thoughts on this?
Well, check, check, check. They did everything that they needed to do, and first and foremost, they won. And they needed to win, knowing that, Louisville had already won, but just to make sure that that they could get that victory today, and Indy 11 did that. They came out on top. Did not foresee a 16-goal barrage that they put on them, but saw some good things from a lot of different players. And it just wasn't, one, but you had 8 different goal scorers tonight.
I am on fingers and toes at this point. So, Maddie Williams 4, Sam Dewey 3, Addie Chester 2, Katie Soderstrom 2, Rafferty Kugler 2. So 5 players had a brace or more for the Indy 11 tonight. For some teams, 16 goals is half the season. For the Indy 11, it was 90 minutes worth this season. Tonight's match on ISC 11 Sports, brought to us in part by Community Health Sports Medicine, exceptional care, simply delivered, and by Alpha Health and Wellness, the official team chiropractor for the Indy 11 W League. For Angela Mary White and our entire ISC Sports Network crew, this is Greg Ragstroll. Goodbye from Grand Park. Not a typo. The Indy 11 win it 16-0. Good night from Westfield. And good luck, ladies, in the W League playoffs starting Thursday in Flint, Michigan. You've been watching on ISC.
For over a century, Indiana has been the destination for sports innovation and the state where champions are crowned. Now, we're entering a new era with Sports Tech HQ, a place that inspires innovation and invests in entrepreneurs who are changing the game, one startup at a time. Welcome to the crossroads of sports and technology. Sports Tech HQ, home of the game changers.
At Masters Heating and Cooling, we dedicate ourselves to serving our community with professional service and groundbreaking home comfort solutions, keeping each and every customer comfortable in their homes all year round, which is why we offer financing options, perks, and coupons to each of our customers. Like our apples to apples price match guarantee. We'll meet or beat any heating and cooling system replacement offer. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the phone or visit our website to learn more about Masters Heating and Cooling's money-saving offers and other unique special promotions.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but sometimes I get a little stressed because I'm not for sure what's going to happen down the road. I was at the cancer unit, and when I come out from seeing the doctor, I said something about needing some help with all the paperwork. They gave me a name and a phone number. Her name is Molly. She works over at Community. She tells me, stop worrying, let me take care of it. She is my angel.
Stand by me.
And the winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Indiana, winning is in our DNA. And we're winning the future with $22 billion in new business investment, building an economy of the future with unprecedented momentum. Indiana, for the winners.